And a very good evening to you, and welcome to Politics 101. Tonight, a little late starts from technical difficulties as we come in to you this evening. Welcome to Politics 101. David Hines here with you on Tuesday. Sorry, here I go. It's on a Wednesday evening. Getting a little confused with the day. Welcome to Politics 101. If you're joining us from Guyana, welcome to Politics 101. Are you joining us from West Berbice? Welcome to Politics 101. Those of you who are joining us from other parts of Guyana, welcome to Politics 101. Tonight we are going to be discussing that violence at Woodley Park on West Coast Berbice. We expect the Member of Parliament from West Berbice, APNU, AFC member of Detroit is going to be here. Lincoln Lewis is going to be here, and we are going to be discussing that development there in West Berbice. Good evening to all of you who are joining us from Brooklyn, New York, from the rest of the tri-state area there in New York, New Jersey, New Jersey. If you're joining us, I think my guests, they're having some difficulty here. We're having some difficulty. I am in communication here with our guests. Welcome to Politics 101. Let's see here if we can sort out the difficulty with them. Welcome to Politics 101. It's a Wednesday afternoon. We're having some technical difficulties, but we are trying to sort it out. We're trying to sort it out. Fitzroy Jordan, MP Fitzroy Jordan, and Lynn Lewis are expected to join us. They will join us in a few while you are getting yourself ready. Those of you who are joining us from Washington, D.C., Maryland area, wherever you are in the United States of America, welcome to Politics 101. Welcome to Politics 101. We are going to get it right. I have the MP on the line here. MP, the last link is the correct link. Where is it taking you? Restart your device, whatever device you're using, restart it and thing. I think there may be a browser problem there. Okay, thank you. That's MP Jordan trying to get into the studio, having some technical difficulties. This happens sometimes. Sometimes we are running from one thing to the other and we don't get a chance to come in early enough so that we can make sure we have everything working in order, but we are getting there. Those of you who are joining us from the wider Caribbean, welcome to Politics 101. Hello in Barbados. Those of you who are joining us from Barbados, hello to you. Those of you who are joining us from Trinidad, I think today's Ash Wednesday. So I think all the revelry is over. We are officially into Lent. I think. Yesterday was Carnival Tuesday in Trinidad. And I think after Carnival Tuesday, then Ash Wednesday kicks in. Those of you who are Christians, especially the Anglicans and the Catholics who would be observing Lent, you can enlighten me. I think today is Ash Wednesday. In my time as an Anglican, I would not miss Ash Wednesday church for anything. These days, one is so busy that Ash Wednesday could pass without me realizing it. Good evening. Good evening to you if you're joining us from Grenada, St. Vincent, St. Lucia. Welcome to Politics 101. Please share the link and let everyone know tonight we'll be discussing that ethnic racial violence at Woodley Park against children, West Berbice. We are going to be talking to MP Vince Roy Jordan and Lincoln Lewis. We're expecting them to join us anytime as soon as they sort out some difficulties. Good evening to you, Brother Vibert White. Brother Albert Morgan, good evening to you. Good evening to you, Rhonda. Good evening to you, Wayne. Albert, good evening to you. Good evening to you, Cherry Jeffrey, Henry, Rodney, Tessa Waterman. Good evening to all of you. Please share the link. We are going to be discussing that violence at Woodley Park, brazen violence, and we are awaiting not that much to happen, but we are awaiting. The Ministry of Education says that they will do an investigation into what has taken place at Woodley Park. You see, when one group is at the receiving end, there is no investigation. There is no promise of an investigation. The president and the Home Affairs Minister went down there, and by the end, before the end of the day, they had already, quote unquote, compensated. Let's try to sort this thing out here with MP Jordan, who continues to have difficulty, and I am trying to solve the difficulty here with him. We're going to get him on. We are going to get him on. Sometimes these technical difficulties occur. Sometimes these difficulties occur, but we're trying to straighten the gear with him. Here, make sure that we get everything right. Make sure that we get everything right. To make sure that we get our guests in. We are I think we have it sorted out now. I hope the MP is able to get in now. I hope he's able to get in. I was saying, when the matter occurred at Monrepo, the president and the Home Affairs Minister went down there and they compensated people. And then 8 months later, they picked up people who were in the march and charged them with terrorism, arbitrary charges, with terrorism. We remember when bad settlement erupted into violence on March the 6th, as that policemen and women were beaten, injured, school children were stoned. The police did not charge anyone, for terrorism. The coalition government at the time did not instruct the police to charge anyone. Violence erupted at Lusignan. No one was charged. No one was charged. People were injured. Nobody was charged. Violence erupted in Buxton. We understand that there was a falling out between the PPP and their friends. A vehicle, we understand, was burnt. Nobody was charged for terrorism. And you charge the people of Golden Grove for terrorism. You charge the people of Golden Grove for terrorism. And here you have this brazen attempt on the part of, not brazen attempt, brazen attack on school children by people who are clearly supporters of the government, clearly supporters of the government, and they're promising investigation. They're promising an investigation. We are waiting our guests. We are waiting our guests who are having some difficulty in getting on, who are having some difficulty in getting on. Mr. Vince Roy Jordan, we are awaiting him. We are awaiting Mr. Lincoln Lewis. They seem to be getting some difficulties in getting on. They seem to be getting some difficulties in getting on. And we don't know why. I'm trying to sort it out. But they're not getting on. They're not getting on. We're hoping, we're keeping our fingers crossed that they will come on. But that ridiculous exposition of violence, Woodley Park, where African Guyanese were told they should not be in that community. Children were beaten. We don't see the police charging anyone for terrorism. We don't see the president going down there and mourning with those people. It's a clear case of different justice for different people in Guyana. It's a clear case of different justice for different people. And we want the members of parliament, the member of parliament from Region 5, Vince Ron Jordan, to come on, the APNU AFC member to come on. He's trying his best to come on. He's trying his best to come on. He's having some difficulty. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. Clearly, we are not seeing any let-up in the violence against African Guyanese. Enjoy no protection from the police. They enjoy no protection from the government. Absolutely none. Now we have African Guyanese being charged as terrorists. We have African Guyanese being charged as terrorists. I think the member of parliament is on now. Let's bring him on immediately. Good evening, Mr. Jordan.
Good evening, Dr. Hines.
I'm sorry for all the technical. Yes, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly.
Sorry for all the technical difficulties, but the audience has been patient and they are here. So let's get right away into the interview. Tell us what happened at Woodley Park. Walk us through what happened at Woodley Park.
All right. Well, good evening to all your viewers and listeners. What happened at Woodley Park in a nutshell, as was seen or could be read in our press statement. Basically, last Thursday, the children of that school, a few children of that school, African Guyanese children, they were coming from school, and on their way home, they were approached by several East Indian Guyanese who are residents of Woodley Park village known as number 11 and neighboring village number 10. The school is situated in such a way that when the children leave school, they would have to walk from where the school is to the public road via a street. And while taking that path, they were attacked, as it was reported, by the approach and attack by these residents, some being teenagers and others being adults, male, that is. And these children came home and they expressed to their parents. Fortunately, at the set time, I was having a meeting in one of the communities along the region. And so 3 of the affected children, I had the opportunity to speak to them immediately. And so they said to me that they were verbally and physically abused by these residents. One clearly identified a young man, and she said that he tried to slap her. She was so afraid that the children were crying while speaking to me. The other said that he was held by his head and shoved several times, and they used explicits at the same time. The children made it very clear also that they were told that this is an Indian community and Black or Kuli community to be exact. That is what was said. And Black children are not supposed to be there. They were raced from the street or chased from the street to the public road until they got into transportation to get home. And that is public transportation passing by. So you can imagine what happened from the street to the road, and while these children were waiting to catch transportation. As if that was not enough, on Friday, the children returned to school. Let me back up, sorry. I advised the parents to go to the school and make a report, let the teachers know what transpired. And also I said to them, we should approach the police and the education department, which is responsible for the welfare of our children at school. That was done the very next morning. And so the children report. I can say, for example, those three children spoke with an officer in my presence. And so they had an opportunity to say to the officer what happened. And then he advised them to go to the school and make that report. The parents left and they went to school. One thing the children made very clear was that they told them the next day they're going to come back for them. What the parents did is went with, I can speak about the tree. The parents went with the tree to the school. Whilst at the school, the video that you see circulating on social media, that is whilst parents and children who were attacked the day prior were in school, and residents came again, young men in their teens and adults, into the compound, attacked the children again. And one thing they said, one of them said, is that I told you, we promise you that once you come back the next day at 11, I think it was 11:30, 11:40, something like that, we will be there. And exactly that happened. They turned up at that particular time and went into the school and attacked the children. If you listen to the video carefully, you would hear one child saying to the teacher, "Miss, you see this man cuff me in my face or cuff me?" Can't remember the exact words. And then you would see several teenagers walking out that compound with weapons being in the form of wood and bricks in their hands, while teachers, were trying to get them out, and parents. I have with me some photographs of children. One hand was injured, the other to his head. One particular child that was beaten by a resident in no ordinary fashion. He's a school child. He's from Rosignol village, and the man it is alleged that is this man who was seen in his boxers, who at the time appeared to be drunk on some form of alcohol, and was in the compound, and in a very, very outrageous manner, he used explicits, could not be controlled by both parents and teachers. And then at one point, even the persons who came with him, they had to leave him because he was not allowing them to take him out. So in a nutshell, it is 2 days that our children went to school and were abused. The first day, from what was reported to me, on the way out and during the period of getting transportation. The second day, it was during that period, first morning period, and between that and the lunch hour, that havoc, broke out at the school. And both parents at the time and teachers, along with the children, were attacked. That is a brief
Teachers were
synopsis of
attacked.
what.
Teachers were attacked also.
Yes, from all the reports that I got, teachers were verbally abused and told of some racial this remarks that were racially motivated from some way. I believe it was the way it was said. It was particularly coined to say to them that they're not welcome in this community, and these are our black teachers.
And these are black teachers. These are black teachers.
Exactly, black teachers, African Guyanese. So it is a very scary
all right,
matter.
So Vince Roy, we are getting there. Vince Roy, locate for us geographically where Woodley Park is located, near which village. Those of us who are not part of, do not live in Berbice, locate where Woodley Park exactly is. Next to which village? Which African village?
Well, let me just walk you through. Woodley Park, when you're coming from Georgetown, which is west, you find Bath Settlement, which is a large community, yes. And then you move to another village, number 12, and then you move to number 11, which is Woodley Park. So that entire stretch
Uh-huh.
from Bath Settlement, number 12, Woodley Park. And when you
So
pass
Woodley
Woodley
Park is
Park,
near to Bart Settlement. Yes.
yes, correct, correct. As a matter of fact, West Bobicians, we consider that once you had Bath Settlement, Woodley Park, we consider it as one because like if it's like if you go into Belladrum and you're at Paradise or you're at El Dorado, we consider
El
all
Dorado.
it to be Belladrum. So being at Woodley Park is considered, Bath Settlement area. People who are not familiar might not know the boundaries of the village will say, I'm at Bath Settlement. And
I got
going
you.
east
I
of
got
Woodley Park is Woodlands, which is number 10 village. So that is where it is situated.
That's where it is situated. And Bart Settlement was where that post-election violence erupted when school children were attacked, stoned, and the policemen and women were attacked by residents. Is that true?
Well, yeah, let me just, Bath Settlement is where the police officers, if you watch a video, keep trending on social media, for many, many, many months. Well,
Yes, yes,
I
I
mean,
know
at
we've
this
seen
time,
the
we can
video,
say
but
years.
I want you to refresh our memory.
Yes, that video where police officers in their numbers were chased by residents, attacked, and one I can remember clearly because Dr. Hines, putting me back to the position. I was responsible for ensuring on that day, March the 6th, that all our school children were safe. The then President David Arthur Granger and Mr. Harmon at the time instructed me to ensure to get all the school children to the nearest police station and ensure that they are safe. And if you permit me to rehash, just to reflect on what
Yes,
transpired
yes,
that day.
yes. Yes, go right ahead.
That day, I was in Bushlot village, and I saw the road being blocked and people throwing things onto the road. And I said to them, what is this? Why are we going I spoke to a PPP operative. I said, why are we going into this direction? He said that you will see. I said, okay. At that time, I was driving my vehicle heading west. When I reached a point called Middle Dam in Bushlot, my vehicle was surrounded by um, the residents of that community, and they almost lifted the vehicle and turned it over with me because my vehicle, of course, was covered with all the paraphernalias and election slogans representing David Granger and the coalition. When I left Bushlot, after the police somehow managed to get some amount of clearance and was heading to Fort Wellington, I learned that the school bus was coming out of Bushlot and the children were stoned in that bus. When I turned back and went, all you could have seen was children bleeding. The steward who were responsible for taking care of the children had to get them lying on the ground. Driver suffering injuries, the bus damage, and those children were taken to the Fort Wellington Public Hospital. When I went to Bath Settlement, the road was blocked completely. The police officers who were there to keep the peace were more fearful than I, as an ordinary citizen or resident passing through the community. So you can understand what was happening in Region 5 on that day. So it was in Bushlot Village and Bath Settlement. Those were the epicenters of everything that happened on March the 6th. Moving along, and I can tell you because I moved from Bushlot all the way to Blairmont that one on that day because I had to get all the school children off the road. And moving along to Cotton Tree, I can vividly recall a man pulling a gun from his waist, putting it into my face, and then, as we people say, you hawk. He hawked, and then he spat. It was just missing me, and two men were with me, and I had to restrain them from doing what they wanted to do at that time because of the situation that we were in, the community that we were in. But that's just a little bit of what I experienced. The police officers on the ground at Cotton Tree could not have done anything to save both school children from being verbally abused on that day. Again, it was the same thing. You were called the most uh, hurtful names, words that will tell you that when you're being told, from being called a black dog to being called a crap dog, and you continue to list it. Those were the words that we were called on that day. I know it's funny that we cannot, or we did not hear anything about an inquiry and an ERC and all these things coming out from that day. But what is bothering me at this point in time is that our school children continue to be attacked in this region, and everything seems to be driven by one particular race. Further to that, from information gathered, it is also driven by a particular group of people that are closely aligned, and I will not say this with any fear, that are closely aligned to the government. And so it brings back to mind from those earlier days when our parents and grandparents spoke about the 1960s. And I'm wondering what really is happening, or what is it that is starting within our communities. And at this time, the government, all that the minister said was that there will be an investigation, and when that investigation is true, we will know the findings. Now, you're the Minister of Education. You are responsible for this entire education in this entire country. And all that you can say after several school children of one ethnicity were attacked by members of the community of a different ethnicity, that you're going to await the findings of an investigation. Now, we all know that the police force can do this much when it comes to matters with regards to the schools, because it is the Department of Education Welfare that is responsible for those internal investigations within a school, because our system as we know it, police officers don't just go into schools and begin to question children and question teachers and all the likes. I don't know if you can recall years ago, a former commissioner of police had actually asked that police do not go into school because of an incident in Region 6 then, with a former senior regional officer in the B division who arrested a teacher. But that is a matter that caused police not to really go into school. So the welfare department is totally responsible for this. So with the ministry being responsible for the welfare department, and the minister saying that she's awaiting an investigation, well, then that is troubling for me. It is also troubling for the parents. I have a few messages from today. Children are messaging me now, not only parents, and asking me what happened to the government. Why are they not saying anything about this? Why is it that they are now silent about it? The children say that they are still fearful. And yet for all, the one Guyana president, all that we could have heard coming from his government is that the minister is saying that she's awaiting an investigation. The president is not mindful of saying to Guyanese citizens that this must not happen. The president is not mindful of saying to Guyanese citizens that this should have never happened, and let us move to ensure that those who are the perpetrators of this act be arrested and face the full brunt of the law. Now, the thing about it is that this is far more serious than some of the things that I see them trying to find people who committed, well, quote unquote, committed crimes of terrorism months back, since last year. But now you have something brewing in our society where children are being attacked. When you come to the level of children, teachers, and our schools coming under attack, I said to one parent, this that is happening here, if we are to look at it closely and if it should escalate, well, then Indian children can go to schools where that are situated in Black communities, and vice versa. What is it that the government is putting in place to stop this from happening, to stop it from escalating?
Brother Rinfroy, let me put this in context for you. March the 6th, school children were attacked in the Bath settlement area 3 years ago. Almost March the 6th, on the day before our Republic anniversary, children, or the week before our Republic anniversary, children are attacked in that same locality. Let me take you back a little long before you were born. In Little Rock, Arkansas, in the early 1960s, after the Brown versus Board of Education decision, that schools in the United States were to be integrated. At Little Rock, Arkansas, a group of Black children went into Central High School to begin to integrate that school. A mob of white people with sticks and stones and guns assembled in front of the school. And one student, Mimi, I forgot her last name, she was late because the troops, the National Guard, had escorted the student, and she was late. And they spat on that child. She was a little girl, spat on her, cursed her, wanted to beat her. The same scene we are seeing in Woodley Park. We have made the charge that this country is an emerging apartheid state. At that time, the United States of America was an apartheid state. It was during the period of segregation. Segregation as a system did not come to an end until the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1964 that brought African Americans under the purview of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Apartheid in America, children are beaten in front of schools. In Guyana, 2020, 2023, little children of one race are beaten in their schools. South Africa, 1976, the Sharpeville massacre, where the apartheid government shoot down Black people. Students by the apartheid government. Apartheid is the generic name. The behavior in Sharpeville and the rest of South Africa in the 1970s. The behavior of white supremacists in the south of the United States during segregation. And the behavior of our brothers and sisters of East Indian extraction there in Woodley Park and Bath Settlement, they're the same. Apartheid. What you are seeing at play is apartheid. In all three instances, children are being mowed down. We come on air tonight with the news that on the West Bank, 11 Palestinians have been killed just in the last couple of days. Apartheid. Jimmy Carter, God bless his soul, refer to what happened on the West Bank. There is apartheid. We in Guyana, and I'm answering your question, We are closer than we were last August when Coffee 250 said that we were an emerging apartheid state. My brother, I want you to continue monitoring what's happening there. Tell us, tell the audience, what are the parents saying about what is happening to their children?
Well, the first thing I must mention is that a few parents approached me and they said that they are going to transfer their children from the school. I advised them that this should not be the case because we should not have to run from school to school or from a community to another because we are attacked. The system should and must work for our children. The system should and must work for our parents and the teachers. And so several parents have already taken transfer for their children from all that I know. The ones that are remaining, they are of the opinion that their children are not safe, which I agree with. Also, they're saying that should this happen again, they will take the necessary actions. And I am not here tonight to promote violence or to promote people going into communities and retaliating after or taking actions after action that were taken against them or their children. But I'm here to say that this is what can happen if the system continues to fail our people. The children
And that
are
is what
not
the
safe.
parents are saying.
That's what the parents are saying. The children are not safe going back to school. The parents are also saying that if they can come into the school as was promised and done on Friday last, promised on Thursday and executed on Friday, if they can do that much, what about when the children have to walk the streets from the public road to reach to the school? What about when they leave the schools to come back to the public road and have to wait on transportation? So that is scary. And any mother, any father would think about that because sometimes you stand on the road for about 15, 20 minutes, you're waiting transportation. And anything can happen within that period. So that is the general view of our parents. Apart from the parents, several teachers express that they don't feel safe. And because of the fact that the ministry has done nothing to make them feel safe and basically told them to go back to work and said that there is an investigation of which we already know that the minister is trying to push under the carpet because several reports are saying or suggesting that they wanted to know how the video got into the public and how the video got to the politicians from the coalition. Now, this is the how low our officers are, ministers are, and instead of trying to fix the problem, you are wondering how this video got to the member of parliament, how it got to the regional officials. That is nonsense. Your duty at this time is to ensure that you solve whatever happened a few days ago, and put systems in place that it must never happen again. Don't worry now about what how the video and pictures got to me. I have a responsibility to represent all the people of Region 5, and I've been doing so from since I was elected and appointed to do so, and I will continue to do so. And no minister or officer or whomever that might threaten parents and all of that cannot stop me from doing that. And I've also said to them that very soon I'm going to lead a team into that very community. And we are going to move across, because I've already started it throughout the region, where we are meeting with the parents and meeting with also the children who were attacked, and we're going to gather more evidence with regards to it. We're going to gather more information, and we're going to take it to the police, because the man that attacked the child, permit me to say, from Rosignol, that child, the parents of that child, they wanted to confront him. And it is because of our peaceful nature as a people at times that they said, look, let us leave this so that the police can handle it, so that they can deal with it, and the ministry, so that they can handle the matter. Let us not try to make it blow out of proportion. But how long can we do that? And at what point should we say that enough is enough? Now, coming back to the teachers. So the teachers are also awaiting their union, because I don't know if the union was not told, but I can speak to the union from here tonight, that the teachers are awaiting you to say to them or to give them guidance with regards to what they must do, because they are serving in a community that they are fearful in. The fact of the matter is that the residents are saying that they should not be there. This is a Kuli community, a Kuli village, and blacks should not be there. You're not only speaking to our children, but you're speaking to our teachers who are also African Guyanese. And one thing.
But Vince Roy, yeah. Pause for a moment. In ethnic societies, when people of one ethnic group are saying to people of another ethnic group, get out, don't come back here to school, don't come back here to work, this community belongs to one ethnic group, it's called ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing. They are cleansing Woodley Park of one ethnic group. That the crime in international law. In Kosovo during the Serbian war, they were ethnically cleansing people from one part of Serbia, what was then Yugoslavia, to another part, keeping people out from part. It's called ethnic cleansing. That is what you're before. What is before you in West Berbice is a case of apartheid action on the part of people of one ethnic group, is ethnic cleansing, saying that in Woodley Park, Black people are not welcome. So I just want to frame this in ethnic terms. You are quite correct. As a leader, you first must try to restrain your people. But as you have asked, when is enough enough? This is not the first time school children are attacked. It happened, as you said, on March 6, 2020. There was a different government. The police were not instructed by that government to go in and charge anyone for terrorism. The police did not retaliate against those people. It was a different government, guided by a different political culture. Although its supporters were attacked brutally, it chose the path of restraint. Now, the supporters of the other party are attacking people again. And that party is now in government. And that party has not gone on the ground to ask its people to restrain themselves. I want the audience to listen to me carefully what I am saying. The brother has given us a ball-by-ball report of what's happening on the ground. And that my job as a scholar, as an activist, is to put what has happened there in historical context and in the larger context of behaviors in apartheid society. Apartheid societies. It happened at Little Rock, Arkansas, at Central High School. It is happening at Woodley Park, twice. School children. It happened after the Sharpeville massacre in 1976 in South Africa. What more evidence do we need to say that black people are under attack? Black people are under attack. They're under attack in Woodley Park. And Woodley Park, I think, is the test case, second test case, for what could and may happen in the rest of our country. Brother Fitzroy, we have been hearing all kinds of things about Hope Town. You are on the ground. Tell us from your perspective what happened at Hope Town.
And you were speaking about the accident.
Yes.
And the burning of the all right. What I can say is that there was an accident in Hope Town. A young man was driving, reckless, of course, from all that the reports that I receive, and he struck down two residents or villagers from Hope Town, or that lives in Hope Town. And after that happened, those who were injured were taken to the Fort Wellington Hospital. The young man that was driving the vehicle and whomever was in the vehicle, they left the scene. They were collected by somebody, probably family members, whomever. Another vehicle came and collected them. Instead of this young man going to the police station to say that there was an accident, I was involved in an accident, two persons were injured, and I'm here to report that accident and to let you know that I was the driver. The young man, who is the son of a prominent businessman who owns and operates a business in Bushland, went to the police station, reported to the police that they were attacked and beaten in Hope Town. After the police took the report from them, the father of that young man allegedly abused the police verbally, using a number of racial and indecent languages towards the police. At present, the matter is with the police. I think that that man was charged, so the police can give further details on that. He was charged. They left the police station, and the father took the son to the Fort Wellington Hospital for treatment. Now, this is where I came in. I went to the hospital to look or to check on the two young men that were injured. One was transferred to New Amsterdam Hospital. The other was treated at Fort Wellington. Whilst there at Fort Wellington Hospital, the father and the son came in. When the father and the son came, as my father was going in, they were there. Sorry. The father and the son, a special doctor came out. Special doctor, not the doctor on duty. A special doctor came out, a male Cuban doctor, I want to believe he is Cuban, came out to attend to this young man. So I said, is this the young man that hit the children, the two residents on the road? And the young man answered and said, yes. I said, so how then you can be here seeking medical attention or trying to seek medical, have a special doctor, and then you just went, because I was told, because I was at a police station, verbally abused the police, and then you come to seek your attention. He's in a vehicle parked in the hospital compound, a Prado to that extent, well tinted, and the doctor is approaching him and doing whatever he had to do to and for him, whilst the father is waiting there for him in the compound. So I said, this is not right. you have to seek medical attention with a police here, because that is how it is normally being done. I was involved in an accident. I have to be guarded or kept watched by the police while being attended to, because I injured two people on the road. Should anything go contrary to what, apart from their injuries there and death or whatever might have happened, the police have me, must know that they have me in custody. It is not custody in the lockups, but you're seeking a medical attention and um, police with police watch. Then is when I was told that the men did not come or at any time were arrested or were put into any police custody for any form. They were walking as the big bad men in the street, threatening the people of Hooptown. This is what the father threatened the people in Hooptown, telling them that if he doesn't receive his car, he will burn down Hooptown. And residents reported that. So I said, no, 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 this can't be the same father whose son hit down two young men in the village, sending such a message to a community. And the residents got outraged. At some point, the vehicle was lit a fire. I don't know by who and at what point exactly. I was at home. And when the vehicle was lit a fire, the police were there. They controlled what was happening. The fire team when they attended to that. But after that, you hear all these remarks being made about the people of Hooptown and what who they are and the different names being used against them. Now let us be fair, man. If I go to any village, it could have been bad settlement. I'm a driver and I hit somebody on the road. It is my place, Dr. Hines, to go to the nearest police station as a responsible driver. And when I go to the nearest police station, I make a report based on the truth. And when I finish making it, it is for the police now to do their job or as police officers, whether to get me to the nearest hospital if it is so necessary, or to say you will have to remain in custody until XYZ time. Now, people are speaking a lot of things about the residents of Hooptown, but they're not getting to the point or the part where the family members of the young man that hit the two young men with his car, who are in contact with the top brass of the guy in the police force, were able to get from them protection that night, and to have the vehicle actually wanted the vehicle to be removed and to go home, not to the police station. Those were the reports that the people gave, that they wanted the vehicle to go to for him to collect his vehicle and not to. Well, I can clarify this with the police, because of course the residents had to report to me what they were told by the police. And so they said he is the man sent what you call the not the lube, the one that collects the vehicle when they damage. I'll get the name just now. The tow truck to pick up the vehicle and to take it to whichever destination they wanted. Now, people need to.
Let me ask you this. Let me stop you and ask you this. From your reports, Vince Roy, when this man knocked down these two people, did he come out of the vehicle? Did he go to the assistance of the people? What happened at that point? Because before you get to the police, you knock down somebody's village or you knock down two people in the village. One would assume the human in you come out, you go, you render assistance if they have to go to the hospital or what have you. Did that occur from that word?
No, the young man did not render any assistance. That is clear. There's a video also showing where he entered another vehicle. Like I said that earlier. I don't know who was driving the vehicle. Could be a family member or friend, and they took him away from the village. Now, I am very fair in this. Let us say that he was fearful of his life. He had to go to the nearest police station because that is what they paint
Right.
generally when you go to Hooptong or any other village. That, well, yes, I was fearful for my life. So, well, then you should have gone to the nearest police station, make a report
To the
based
nearest
on
police
the
station.
truth, and which is the police station just 5 minutes away, less than 10 minutes. And then you make a report based on the truth. But instead, like I said earlier, they made a report that he was assaulted in Hopetown, and then they verbally abused the police officers and they left. So that is what angered the residents of Hopetown. That is the basis for the residents being angry at that point. And out of fairness, he should have gone and do the right thing.
Now, what are you hearing about this man who it is alleged that was set afire by a resident, and there is an attempt to link what happened on the day of that accident to this injury to this man, Mr. Jamir, I think his name I read, who was born. What you can tell us about that incident?
Well, from all that I learned, as a matter of fact, let me say, I don't know the man, Mr. Jamir, personally. What residents are saying, and the report, on, well, word on the ground, they're saying that somebody identified or said that this man was injured by a man or a resident from Hooptong, and um, the police, as a matter of fact, I think, went and did their investigation. I don't know if they found the man to be from Upton or from another village. And the matter is that they're saying the man is an informant or informer or from the accident scene. He went to make reports or give names of people who were in Hooptong, and they're trying to link that his injuries to
Yes,
that of the
yes.
accident at Hooptong. But to date, I have not heard of the man that is from Hooptong. I've not seen the man that is from Hooptong, and I don't know how Mr. Jamir happened to be in Hooptong at the same time when that happened. I cannot put those together. But like the sensational news, I know them to. I think it was Newsroom and one other. When they get these information, they just put out these headlines, causing a lot of sensational waves in the air, and then they pull back because I've not heard another word from them with regards to this, proving that this is a man from Hooptong and proving that this man was indeed probably at Hooptong and probably indeed knows about the Martin Hooptong, and also that the resident indeed had some issue with this man. I cannot say that that is true because it has not yet been proven to be so. And all I can say is that Hooptong is at its best, it's peaceful, and the residents are moving and going about their business as per normal. I have not yet seen anything unusual in the community, and that is the community that I frequent on a daily basis. So I cannot um, say how the news agencies got their report, but what I can say for sure is that the village is at its best when it comes to calm and peace.
Peace. But before you go, Vince Roy, the African students who go to school, a secondary school or a primary school?
It's a
The
secondary
school at
school,
Woodley Park. It's a
right?
secondary school.
It's
The African Guyanese who go to that school, are they scattered along that part of West Berbice, or are they primarily, or most of them are from a particular village, African village?
no, well, they're from they're scattered along West
They scattered.
Berbice, because
Because
you
the
have
town come right down.
right, you have children from as far as Rosenthal that I know. As one of the child, one of the children that got injured, the child is from Rosenthal, that one of them, and then another few all the way at Union 30 West Coast Bobbies here. So they have a number of children from across the region, this lower part of West Berbice, who are attending that school?
Vince Roy Jordan, Vice President of the People's National Congress, and Member of Parliament from the West Berbice area, of the young men who is making his mark on politics of our country. He has his hands full from, as he told you, March 6th, even before the new government ushered into power via regime change, to what happened with the Henry boys after the government was installed, to what has happened recently in Hopetown and Woodley Park. Obviously, West Berbice has become an area where the people there are under attack, directly under attack. We want on Politics 101 to give our solidarity to the people of that region. If any persons from West Berbice, any of you are on this program tonight, you have our full solidarity. And we want to say we are going to keep this story, Brother Jordan. We are going to keep this story. When I contacted you, immediately you said you would come on. We're going to keep this story alive, as we are keeping the story at Moko alive, because these places represent ground zero for the racial attack on our people. When someone from the PNC says that this is racial attack, it is racial attack. PNC don't deal with race as a first resort. I know that. You will hear that come from Heinz, right? But a PNC person is always cautious before he or she comes to the conclusion. And that you are very clear about the color of the attackers and the color of the attack. And that is why I want you to come on. Because they can doctor videos, or they can say videos were doctored. They cannot say the open word from the mouth of someone on the ground is doctored. And so I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight and for sharing the truth with us. And we shall keep you engaged. Closing thoughts for a captive audience that you have here tonight, better than you would get at a public meeting these days.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hines. What I want to say is that our people deserve better. I want to make it very clear, and whenever we say these things, people tend to take it the wrong way. But I will remain vigilant and in support of all the people of Region 5. But I will not tolerate, as Member of Parliament, any racial attack on any race within our region, and particularly our school children. One thing I want to say, I want to make it very clear to the Minister of Education and to the government of Guyana in general, is that I will continue to work with the parents and the teachers and the children that are attending the Woodley Park Secondary School. And should this ever happen again, we will ensure that the measures that are taken by the opposition and the parents and residents, it will never happen after that. That is all I want to see. Because it is time that the government take its place in its rightful place in governing this country in fairness.
Thank you very much, my brother, and thank you for being there and being on the ground and defending your constituents and coming on here and telling the truth. Oh, just as they have stained Buxton, they have stained Agricola, they have stained Linden, they are now seeking to stain Hopetown and that part of our country, West Berbice. Keep your head up and tell your people to keep their heads up. I will not sit on this program and tell you or tell the people of West Berbice that violence must be their first reaction. But what I can say is that we have to make clear where the violence is coming from. Once we're clear about where the violence is coming from, we have to assert our humanity. Human beings were not made to be beaten like slaves. We beat slavery, and we come out of that not to be beaten as slaves anymore. We are clear of. Good night, my brother, and we shall be in touch.
Thank you very much.
And to your audience, I want to make it very clear. I want to make it very clear. We saw this coming all along. We saw this coming. And we have been saying over and over, ethnic violence is the worst kind of violence. It's the worst kind of violence. And we have been accused here of instigating ethnic violence. Did we instigate the people at Woodley Park? Did we instigate that young man? All his privilege. No, we did not. The instigators of the violence that we're seeing now are those who hold institutional power and were wielding that power in a way that brings shame and injury to an ethnic group in a country that they slave for, in a country that they humanize, in a country that is drenched with the blood of their ancestors and their own blood. We are human beings. We are as human as all other ethnic groups. And all I say tonight as I leave you in peace, to come back tomorrow night in peace, as we go in tomorrow to celebrate Mashramani, to celebrate 53 years of Republican status. The creed of Republican status, which is government by the people for the people. We must let it be known that in Guyana, there are different understandings of our different peoples. They have different treatment of our different peoples. Black people, like our brown brothers and sisters, are all humans. We are human beings. I leave you with that message. We are human beings endowed with the dignity that comes with our humanity. And we are never, never, ever going to surrender that dignity. Fight for your dignity. Because when you fight for your dignity, you're fighting for your lives. You're fighting for your individual lives, the lives of your families and your communities, and our collective lives. Coffee led the way in 1763. The fighters in 1823 in the Demerara Revolution continued the way. Damon and his fighters continued the way in 1834. We shall not rest until everyone, including some of our own, recognize our humanity, not in words, but in action. Ethnic cleansing at Woodley Park in 2023 is not the dream of republicanism. Apartheid in West Berbice is not the legacy of Kofi and Damon and the fighters of 1823. Guyana will have to come to grips with the disturbing presence of African people standing up, erect, and pushing back with all our might against official and unofficial ethnic violence against us. I say no more. I say no more. See you all tomorrow night. Enjoy Mashramani Day. Enjoy Republic, whatever. It's a day for a little fun. Have fun. But remember, when the fun is done, the struggle continues.